Okay, Ben, thank you for joining me today. We're discussing The Heirloom. It is premiering at a couple of theaters in the next couple of days, upcoming days. Very exciting. November
Right.
28th, it's playing at TIFF Lightbox. November 29th to December 5th, it's playing at Carlton Cinema. And November 29th to December 1st is playing at Review Cinema. That's a great cinema. I love that one. Tell me a little bit about the film, especially for viewers who are tuning in for the first time. Give me maybe a quick synopsis.
For sure. Yeah. And thanks for having me, Stefano.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's The Heirloom is a movie that I made with my wife, Grace Glowicki. At the time, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and I say that because the status of the couple in the movie is relevant to the story, I suppose. It came about when during the lockdown, the pandemic. I had been writing a screenplay for a few years that I'd really been pouring my entire life into. And we were in pre-production for the film, and the pandemic came down upon us and made shooting that film more or less impossible. So I was kind of fretting and reworking the script and trying to see how I could make a version of it during the lockdown and all of the confines of that circumstance. And Grace and I adopted a rescue dog who came from the Dominican Republic. And she landed in our lives and just sent shockwaves of love throughout our apartment and throughout my mind. And I became intensely inspired by this kind of arrival of new life and new love in our apartment during a time of such loneliness and alienation. And I ended up ripping up my screenplay, my long belabored screenplay, and decided to follow the inspiration I was feeling and make a movie about the experiences we were having personally and in our relationship in the wake of adopting our dog. So it's the resulting movie is a metafictional movie that draws really heavily from Grace and I's experience, our relationship, and yeah, about what happened when our pup came into our lives and how it changed us.
Yeah, I one of the things I really loved about the movie is how incredibly relatable it is. During that moment in all of our lives, there were a lot of people looking to get comfort, and animals were one of the ways that a lot of people got comfort. Um, but it also like I myself, I didn't get a dog, but I connected it in a different way because me and my wife are going to be having a baby soon, and our lives are going to be completely changing. So that aspect of the film really connected to me, with having to completely overhaul your life, and not in a good way, change the way you live, change the way you're going to be moving forward. So it was incredibly relatable, and I think that's one of the things that like a lot of people would draw to a lot of people. So I really like that aspect of the script and how relatable it was, and
Thank you.
how
And
much of the
congrats
script.
on the forthcoming baby. That's so exciting, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a very exciting time. But yeah, that's just how I connected to the film. With especially the first bit of the film with you guys, trying to figure out how
Yeah.
which dog to get, how to change your living situations, and you're putting up the baby gate in order to make it dog friendly. Those types
Yeah.
of things is really what I'm connecting with.
Right
Um,
on. Yeah.
my
Yeah.
one of the questions I had was regarding how much of the script did you have to like really pull away from your actual life, or how much did you include, and how much really did you take away? Did you have to like, you know what, let's not put that in, because
Yeah.
it is based on your real life.
Yeah. I mean, so in the movie, our dog's name is Millie, and in real life, our dog's name is Dilly. And that's a good microcosm for the ratio of real to fabrication in the movie. Um,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
so it's a twist. There's a small twist of lemon in
Yeah.
in the sauce, but yeah, and there are some scenes that were added that didn't actually happen to us. Like there's a scene in the movie where my character, spoiler alert, loses the dog briefly and lies about it to the his partner. And I always like to say in Q&As and stuff that that is the one scene that never actually happened in our lives. But then I realize it just sounds like I'm just lying about it the same way that the character lied about it and continuing my character's gaslighting
Yeah.
to the audience. But no, there were a few things. But even that, I didn't lose our dog. But like a week before we shot, in the house across from Grace and I, these three little kids, I walked out of our apartment and these three little kids were trying to coax their dog who had gotten out of their house back into the safety of their arms. And the dog bolted away in front of me and ran into the middle of an intersection and got away. So even that wasn't actually from our lives in quite how literally I translated it, but there was reality even still, yeah, imprinting on that scene.
Yeah. Your wife Grace plays Allie. Is Millie your actual dog?
Dilly is our actual
Millie
dog.
is your actual dog.
You mean the dog in the movie? No,
The dog
it's
in the
not.
movie.
That's an actor dog.
It's an actor dog. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even to say actor dog. I mean, it is. She is an actor in this case, but she has never done a film job before. She's a like high level competitive dog in agility competitions. So she's like an athlete dog, I suppose. Definitely a professional. Definitely a professional. Our dog is way too nervous to put through the
On camera.
making process. Yeah.
What was it like filming with an animal, and have you ever done that process before?
Never shot with a dog before. I first AD'd a film that had a cat involved, and thankfully dogs are a touch easier to wrangle than cats. But it was great. I mean, the woman who we were working with, Helen Ferguson, whose dog it was, she was wonderful to work with, and we really just tried to be as unintrusive as possible. Working with Cheers is the actor dog who portrayed Millie. At first, we were kind of trying to get Cheers to perform particular beats that I had written in the script, like, oh, Millie lifts her paw nervously. And it became very hallmark. And, the incredible thing about a dog is that it's impossible for them to lie. If you leave them as they are, you can read them like a book. And that's what's so compelling about dogs, and what was so compelling about my dog to me was just how vividly and nakedly her vulnerability was expressing itself to me. There were no pretenses about how she was feeling. And that was so vivid to me and so central to what I wanted to capture with the film. And so we really, within the first week, pivoted how we were working with Cheers, and just oftentimes Helen would go in the other room, and just we would kind of let Cheers lead the scene, let her behave as she wanted to behave, and try to perform around her, just to protect that centrality of Millie as an authentic being,
Okay.
at all costs. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
One of the other aspects of the film that I think one moment particularly is that I connected with, and I think a lot of people will too, is your conversation with Ali about work-life balance and trying to be a filmmaker. And anyone in the arts would connect with that. Highly relatable. You bring your work home with you. So I connected with that as well, and especially during COVID, where people are working at home and trying to create that balance. Did you yourself? How did you guys navigate around that work-life balance scenario, like personally, and also creating a film in your environment? Was that your actual home?
Have you seen? Are you a Seinfeld fan at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that episode where they find like Bizarro Jerry and Bizarro Kramer and Bizarro.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, yes, yeah.
The set for the film was like a Bizarro version of our apartment. So
Okay.
we rented an empty apartment and moved all of our furniture, knickknacks, and belongings into it. So we would sleep at home at our stripped to the bone empty apartment, notwithstanding, a mattress and a few chairs sitting around. And then we would go to this bizarro version of our apartment that we had made to recreate it and shoot there. So it's close. It's close.
Okay. Yeah, I was just really curious about the filmmaking process, and I'm like, did they film this at their home? Like, because
Yeah.
talk about work-life balance for real. That would have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, no, I mean, like in that scene when I'm kind of describing the feeling that I was having at that time, which I mean, that scene is a scene that really describes how the movie began, how the process of deciding to make this movie began for me, which was feeling that I could not achieve work-life balance, and that by making a movie about my life, instead of trying to achieve balance, I could just fuse it into one whole pearl of a thing. And in doing that, all work and life divisions collapsed completely. We would go home from shooting in the bizarro version of our apartment to our actual apartment, and our walls were just covered in cue cards of what we were going to be shooting the next day. Even then, the strain that making the movie about our relationship put on our relationship got folded back into the plot in the movie. So we really tore the walls down, and yeah, it was a bit like inviting the devil into your relationship, trying to collapse things so much, and it was a bucking bronco, but I don't think we would merge the two with like level of severity ever again.
Yeah.
It was intense.
You mentioned it earlier, and we see glimpses of it in the film where you were working on a script, and you mentioned
Mhm.
having working on that, having been working on that script for a few years. Any has that did that script and result in anything? Did you end up going back to it after the fact?
I have left it. I think I've left it forever. It to rest in peace.
Rest in peace. It's
Yeah,
done.
it's done. It's done. Yeah.
How what do you have any things that you do yourself to get over writer's block moments?
That's a good question. I mean, so I love to play squash. You ever play squash?
I haven't. No.
It's an amazing sport. You've probably seen videos of it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's like
Um,
it was like handball, but a different ball, correct? All at the wall and back. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's a wonderful thing, I think, for writing, because the game moves so fast and it's such a small little black ball that you're trying to keep up with, that it helps me strip away all of my thinking. And really the only way to play squash is to, it's kind of like meditating, is just focus utterly on the golden snitch and batting that back and forth against the wall. And that helps me clear my mind and strip away some of the thinking that can get in the way of flow while writing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Your
Yeah.
film has premiered at a bunch of different film festivals this year, and now it's premiering to the public. During this process, do you have any memorable moments of interacting with audience members or in particular screens?
And yeah, when we premiered the film at International Film Festival Rotterdam in January, one really memorable thing for me was that my mother has some relatives in the Netherlands who we had never met before. They were kind of like just an astray part of our family connections. And they came out to the premiere of the movie, and we got to meet my great aunties. And that was really special to be showing this movie that has so much to do with family and contending with family and family history, to through that process get to reconnect with new family that we hadn't met before. That was really special to me.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Ben. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Stefan. It was awesome
Thank you so
talking
much,
with you.
Ben. Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Have a good one.
You too.